Good morning, everyone. My name is Melvin Williams from M&N Communications. I am truly excited this morning, this beautiful Thursday morning, to be able to talk to you about employee security and transforming your weakest link into your strongest defense. What we're going to talk about today is how we can help your company or some of the things that modern organizations are doing to protect their infrastructure from cyber hacks. Technology has changed the way we do business. There seems to be general confusion about how to best utilize modern IT resources. The days of investing millions into IT equipment as a differentiator have changed. Anyone can now utilize those same IT resources without the traditional financial barrier preventing them from deployment. The world is vastly different than 10, 5, or even 2 years ago. The cloud has changed everything for businesses. Digital disruptions are reshaping the IT industry. IT leaders need help with battling the unknown, protecting consumer data, while remaining compliant, is pushing those IT resources to the brink. Technology has changed the customer expectation. Business leaders must have access to vendors who understand digital transformations. Expectations have changed while the technology within the organization remains the same. However, it doesn't matter what industry your business is in. Successful companies across the board are trying to figure out how to use technology to drive customer demand. Many of our clients have problems with establishing competency. It's very difficult to innovate when your business is dealing with limited feature sets from obsolete equipment. Aging phone systems that hamper the ability to scale and contract during the busy season. Lengthy contracts with early termination fees that set the company's budget back. An obsolete exchange server not capable of preventing or warning against phishing emails and ransomware. Data that has outgrown the infrastructure, forcing mission-critical applications to choke the internet bandwidth, increasing network latency, while decreasing employee productivity. Unencrypted emails that challenge the compliance strategy of the organization, putting the reputation at risk. Losing emails and drop calls seem to be the norm for a mobile workforce. It's the new day for the modern IT department. The way people work is changing. Instead of coming into the office and working a 9-to-5 gig, employees now seek to be productive at home, on the road. And not only are employees more mobile, they're using multiple devices, including personal devices, but the majority don't have the technology necessary to be productive outside the office. They don't have the technology necessary to protect those devices from cyber attacks. So that's where we come in. That's what M&N Communication comes in. We provide our clients with access to technology. That's what drives us. We understand what could happen to your organization's reputation when it becomes public knowledge that a hacker was able to intercept a consumer's social security number during an email transmission that wasn't encrypted. So I wanted to, start off by asking you, does that sound familiar? Is your organization experiencing those same problems? And I wanted you to take a deep look at this before we dive into, employee security and how transforming your business, transforming your weakest link to your strongest defense. So we're going to go ahead and jump right down into it. Cybersecurity is a shared responsibility. You rely on us to keep you safe. We pride ourselves on providing the most up-to-date strategies to protect your business. Security in itself is a layered approach. Making sure that you have 1, 2, 3, a firewall, antivirus, anti-malware platform, making sure that your system is patching and up to date, making sure that you have an effective backup solution, a solution that will allow you to remediate the lost data quickly, making sure that you have encryption put in, and third, that employee training in defense. Like I said, it's a layered security approach, and that layered security approach helps to minimize a single point of failure, and it makes it difficult for criminals to penetrate the various layers. Employees are a vital layer that a lot of businesses fail to utilize. Employee security is still not a priority for most businesses. According to IBM, 95% of breaches are caused by human error. 95% of breaches are caused by human error. It's a known fact that employees are the weakest cybersecurity link. Once again, we can help you by beefing up that employee layer or training your employees to spot phishing emails, vishing emails over the phone, ransomware attacks is something that's going to differentiate your business from a failing business. Employees make mistakes. An employee wired $50,000 to an attacker after a spear phishing campaign. A month prior to that, a ransomware attack led to someone, paying over $10,000 in Bitcoin. So, no business is too small to be hacked. Please remember that. No business is too small to be hacked. Employee W-2 information was released as a result of a phishing campaign. Spear phishing attacks lead to multi-thousand-dollar losses due to system reconstructions over the last 4 years. So I ask yourself this question: can your business afford any of these things? Can you afford for an employee to open a phishing email that payload is carrying ransomware? Can you afford that? Can your company reputation afford that? Security in itself is really going to come down to a multi-step approach, making sure that we have baseline security awareness training. The majority of successful ransomware attacks start with an employee unknowingly providing system access. So if an employee provides this access and they don't know how to spot a ransomware attack, the first thing that you want to do is we want to have that baseline security awareness training, understanding where our workforce is at. And then we want to tier it. We want to continuously train that workforce after that, making sure that they understand the modern vectors, the different types of attacks that these cyber criminals are levering to access employee data. We want to simulate those phishing emails, keeping our employee base up to speed, making sure that they can spot them in real time. Ask yourself this question. It's 2018. Businesses are being attacked by cyber criminals every single day, every second. So does your company have a written security policy? How do you measure those risks? Do you know which employees are out there that are taking employee email and logging into different social media platforms? These are the things that we have to be aware of. Employees need to know what to look for so they can avoid causing the next data breach. So once again, employees need to know what to look for so they can avoid causing the next data breach. So why should you be concerned? A small business in Blue Bell, Pennsylvania, Montgomery County, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, why should you be, concerned? Well, I'll tell you this. Ransomware attacks are feared by many organizations. Your business is not immune to a ransomware threat. You may think that your employees are smarter than that. You may even say that your business is too small, or you may think that your data is not valuable. And more importantly, you may not have time to train these employees. But I want you to remember this. Businesses with inadequate resources devoted to cybersecurity are especially at risk. They rely heavily on third-party organizations like us to protect them. Once again, I said you guys are especially at risk. Cyber criminals understand that you do not have the financial resources to have the best equipment to combat those cyber attacks. So they pick on the little guys. They pick on the guys that they know that are only securing the infrastructure with just a little firewall. They have no additional layered security features that are going to prevent them from accessing their network. So remember this, if you're a small business, cybersecurity, cyber hackers are looking for you. So that's why you should be concerned. Now, this is going to lead us on to how do we assess, how do we know where we're at in the market, and what can we do to prevent this, and how do we help our employees going forward? So M&N Communications is introducing our new product. It's called a Dark Web Breach Assessment and Security Training. What is the dark web? Engaging in security awareness training, having additional services. We will scan the dark web for your business domain, and we'll show you those security risks by finding those employees that can be targeted by cyber criminals. You never really know what's out there until you take a proper look. So once again, we'll scan the dark web, and this is something that's pertinent for you to be able to do to have a breach preventive platform, making sure that your employees are up to speed. We want to be able to give them weekly training videos, simulated phishing attacks, continuous dark web breach assessment reviews, making sure that your username, password, personal identifiable information is not out on the dark web. Keeping your employees up to speed with a monthly security newsletter, written security procedures, security risk assessment, employee vulnerability assessment. Education is a continuous process. With increased management engagement, you can play a role in your employees' progress. Once again, your weakest link are your employees, but you have the ability to get them up to speed with annual training. It's the first step, to do between those lessons. We've created this solution so you don't have to introduce your employees to it. We have something called a vulnerability assessment. We really enjoy this assessment because it really gets the employees involved. So why do you need an employee vulnerability assessment? We found what works, so you don't have to. Research shows that humans learn by continuous training and testing. Interactive leaderboards like Fitbit, they engage users in friendly competitions. So our whole platform is to get your employee workforce engaged in a friendly competition, understanding who is at risk, understanding the fundamentals to protecting your infrastructure. So what we do is we've broken this down into an employee security score, kind of like a FICA score. It's employee security strength based on various metrics. It allows management to analyze that progress and improvement. It also acts as a standard measurement across the board. Whether an employee is engaged, whether they're a security risk, what internal breaches have they already experienced, or are they actively participating in security training? Are they taking their quizzes? Can they spot a phishing attack? Have they failed at our simulated phishing attack? And when it's all said and done, in this really, really cool GUI, you have, a way to track it. You have a way to monitor it, a score that employees can share with other employees, and we can get involved. So employee, they can compete for a top spot. Employees will be able to see where they rank against their coworkers. Everyone knows that competition drives the world. So employees compete for that top spot by completing more micro trainings, retaking their trainings, retaking their quiz, acknowledging policies, completing their profile, and failing for phishing attacks, will cause all of their ESS to fall. So the employees are going to want to be aware. They're going to want to make sure that they engage in their tests. So let's go on now. What is an employee can view their details of their dark web data. Employees can see what breaches they have been involved with and what data was compromised. They can even run additional emails from their personal accounts or even friends' accounts. Now, I will tell you this much. Please pay attention to this. This is very important. As we see on this particular slide, email addresses, personal identifiable information, Adobe, Dropbox, LinkedIn. This LinkedIn profile, the password was out there since 5/05/2012. How many people have accessed your LinkedIn profile data? How many people have been able to take some of your information out of your Dropbox account? And if you're not aware of this, how do you protect your employees? So once again, this is a unique platform that allows you to protect your employees, making sure that they recognize phishing campaigns and that they have a score, micro trainings, micro quizzes, making sure that they have this score. And what we're doing now is we're just pretty much running through it to kind of see a little bit more of what's in there. And now let's talk about those management. Management gets this unparalleled insight. The manager's role allows you to get an overview of where your business stands. IT leaders are going to be able to take a look at the security risks that are associated because of their employee workforce right by going into and logging into our center, seeing who's engaged, what employees are training, what employees are creating breaches. You see very little risks that are going to be associated with employees that are doing this. So they're able to test their retention on phishing campaigns, employee security scores. So before we go ahead, I want to kind of say this. Where do I sign up? We pride ourselves in our work. Your success is our success. And we know those tools are the latest and greatest to provide. We want to provide you with the latest and greatest tools. So employees are notably the weakest link, but together we can turn them into your strongest defense. Once again, I just want to say this, that transforming your weakest link into your strongest defense starts with an assessment, finding out what data is out there in the dark web. After the assessment, making sure that your employees are properly trained, getting them properly engaged, having a system that allows them to compete with their other coworkers. Training is everything, and cyber criminals are not going to stop. So thank you very much for your time today. Once again, this is Melvin Williams from M&N Communications, and thank you for your time. And for anyone who leaves a comment on this video and who is interested, we're going to give you a free dark web assessment. Once again, we're going to give you a free dark web assessment. We'll come in and talk to your IT leader about the employees within your organization whose data is out on the web. We'll come in and we'll help you. We'll train you how to resolve this issue. So once again, thank you very much. My name is Melvin Williams from M&N Communications, coming to you live from Bluebell, Pennsylvania, servicing Montgomery County and Philadelphia.